where did this idea come from? The whole,
Around kindness.
yeah, like I'm very curious to see, how did it come to fruition? Like from what you're sharing with me, you're all over it. It sounds
Mm.
very cohesive. I'm sold. I'm good.
No,
Wh- How,
that's good. Somebody told me yesterday they still didn't get it, and I'd known them for quite a while. So I was like, oh, like, so, some people get it, some people just don't. And I think the system change agenda isn't easy. It's complex. It doesn't fit into boxes. It's about actually the leaders leading on this agenda and actually future-proofing the business. So we've condensed it down, and it depends who we're speaking to. If we're speaking to a brand, director, we'll be speaking from the language of kindness to customers. But then how does that transpire across the other pillars? If we're speaking to a HR director, we'll be talking about kindness to people, but how does that translate across the other pillars? So it's really depends where you go in and who you're speaking to around where you
and
begin.
naturally, you're adjusting your message to the recipient.
Yeah, and I mean the big fundamental key message is just be kinder. Be kind as a business, but how you go around it and where you start is up to the business.
Mm,
But for me, my life's journey has been not that easy in the early days. We got bullied a lot, and
mm,
I temporarily was living with a family as a teenager because my family kicked me out, and
mm.
I didn't have the best start. And it's been through a combination of working really hard and people seeing potential strengths in me and giving me opportunities that have enabled me to thrive and become who I am today. And that's not been easy. There's been many places that I haven't fit in because I think differently and I operate differently and I show up differently. But I've been very lucky to have leaders along the way that just saw the little light in my eyes and said, okay, this girl's got something in her, let's give her a shot, or let's help her harness her bright light so she doesn't blast
Her special
people
power.
with it. Yeah. And I think kindness is really something that everybody really, most people can relate to, and it takes it away from a crusty corporate agenda to something that's quite human centric, and
Yeah.
we're all capable of being kinder. You might not be intrinsically kind as a person, but you can take actions that are kind, and that's a beautiful place to begin. Some people don't feel a lot of empathy, and that's not who they are as people, but that's fine. They can still take actions, they can still employ people that are empathetic, that lead teams. We can all very intentionally take kind action, which I think, that combined with understanding a sphere of influence that you can have results in beautiful, beautiful results and ripple effects on this planet. And I recognized through the work I did, I worked in strategic fundraising and marketing for years in non-for-profit sector, and I've worked in the government, private and non-for-profit sector. So I've seen things from a lot of different perspectives. And one of the things I really struggled with was why charities needed to be holding their hat out for money to solve some of the problems in this world that actually businesses create. The government doesn't have the money, charities don't have the money to solve the problems we need to achieve in this world. If we look at the sustainable development goals and the big to-do list of what needs to be done, we've all got to contribute to that for us to
We do.
reduce global warming. Like, it's serious. We can't ignore this anymore. We've got some major problems on this planet. Reducing poverty, health equity, all of these things. In the day and age that we're in now, it's not good enough that we've got such disparity across the planet with regards to the way people can live, how they can thrive and stay well, healthy. And it's just, come on, like, we've got
Yeah,
to
come
start
on.
making that come on. And so we recognized was, like, certainly myself, was there wasn't much out there to actually educate and empower leaders to be a different kind of leader and use the power of their business to be able to create the system change that's needed in this world. There was the environmental crowd, which were the hardcore kind of, eco elders that have worked so hard to get us to where we are today, to be able to even have a lot of these things on the agenda, diversity and
Mm.
inclusion. But then there was nothing kind of joining the dots between the middle. You might go
Yeah,
through a
it's somewhat
sustainability.
quite disparate. and you come in
Yeah.
and bring it together.
Or you might not really understand how it all connects. Like educating women and girls is one of the top ways of improving climate change. So people don't really know that that's connected to that and how everything's connected. So what we recognized was there were these sustainability programs or leadership programs you could go on, but a lot of it seemed untangible or like unaccountable for the average Joe of a leader.
Mm.
So that's where we're like, well, what if we could build something which not only empowers the individual leader to understand who they are, get the coaching and support to be strong and powerful in themselves, but then understand what the sphere of influence they can have, that will start creating the change, and gradually educate around how this connects to the system and the change that we can create in the world. So that's where the concept came from. We've had thousands of collaborators over the years. So I'm just a voice piece. I'm a spokesperson for what we've created. It's been consultants, collaborators, thought leaders in this space from all over the world that has created what we've got today. And we've recognized that we can go in and do CSR programs, we can go in and do these things, but unless the leaders understand why this is important and can relate to it and apply it to their areas of work, actually can fall by the wayside and end up being an unauthentic step forward for business. So that's where we are one of the only businesses in the world that are offering this solution. And we're leading in this space globally, because actually, the most progressive businesses need this right now. And they recognize that for them to be around in the next 20 years, their leaders need to be on board, get on board, understand why this matters, and understand how to apply this to business in a meaningful way and an authentic way. Yeah.
So the story about Bambuddha Group is very much ties in with your own personal motivations.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, for me, I've been an other. I've grown up and been othered, and I'm neurodiverse, and I didn't even realize how neurodiverse I was until I was in my
so when you were growing up, you got put into other categories, is that correct? Or?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Didn't operate like anyone around me.
No, don't put me in one sort of category. You can be many different things, like you said, right?
The category was just you don't fit in. That was the category. And so I spent my life finding all the other others and making friends with the other others because I fit with them. And that's the reality of it, is actually when you spend all your time with the others that are all passionate about changing the systems that we're in so that people feel less alone and othered, you start to create some beautiful things. You start to come up with some great ideas, and like actually listen and hear about ways to do things differently. So I'm lucky to have had the influence of so many amazing people through the years that have been able to contribute to my imagination, to my ways of thinking, that have righted me when I've done wrong, that have helped me with my ignorance, that have shown me different ways of being. And I'm grateful for that every day, because for me, having a purpose that's so clear now and forever until my last breath, I will be about reducing inequality in this world.
And that's the impact you want to achieve
in everything I do for the rest of my life. Like, that is it. And that's who I am.
Isn't it lovely that you're able to articulate it in such a concise way?
Yeah, but before I was doing it intrinsically, and I didn't really I didn't really think about it, because that's just who you are. Do you know what I mean? But it was actually working with Carolyn Butler Madden. After a few years, we did some work. It was a bit like this, a Seth Godin stuff around who is the tribe, who are the people you're attracting, and it was other diverse people, the others that have been othered, and then I was like, oh gosh, okay, yeah, that is.
It was sort of a light bulb for you moment.
Yeah, like, oh right, okay, so this is what I'm here for. Brilliant. I've been wondering about that. Do you know
in a way, this is your superpower in a way, isn't it?
I would say my superpower is connecting in a meaningful way with other humans, and
Mm.
to always try and see the best in people. And I think forgiveness is a beautiful superpower as well. And
It's a
it,
hard one.
it is. And that the
It's a hard
depth
one.
of kindness comes with accepting that everybody's come from a different place. But tomorrow's a new day to turn everything around, and tomorrow's a new opportunity to give it a bash at doing things differently. Because if we create a fear-based energy in a fear-based space, we exclude people that are afraid, what if I get it wrong? If I try and get it right? Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
So for us to go on the journey together, it needs to be around everybody equal. And that's going to take some time and equity, because we all start at different starting points. So that's my take on it. Men, women, everyone in between, it's about equal. And I've just my main thing is I encourage everybody just to do the work on yourself, even though it's not comfortable, so you can just continue to show up as the best person for yourself and the people around you. Yeah.
So if we look 5-10 years out, Anna, what do you think would be that? I know I sometimes simplify things, but hopefully it allows you to sort of really sort of clear your mind to give a very sort of sharp answer in a way, because I'm actually very curious. If there's one thing that you can do in 5-10 years time that would amplify your impact of what you're currently doing, what would that be?
Is tech enabled.
Tech enabled. Okay.
Yeah. So we're tech enabling everything at Bambuddha. We want a woman in Nairobi to be able to go on exactly the same journey as a woman in Melbourne. And we want to utilize the power of technology to reduce inequality in this world. And so we're very excited about the next steps for our tech enablement around how we can continue to share the knowledge that we manage to gather and develop and create all over the world, and build the communities that can start, taking action wherever they are, to create kinder environments for people, customers, community, and themselves. So
because the technology will very much allow you to amplify your megaphone in a way.
100% amplification is everything. It's all good and well as having all of these super empowered leaders coming out the end of our programs and the programs that we do with the corporates and the individuals we work with. But what if they can't amplify their message? What if they can't tell their story? And that's interesting, because we've just opened a co-working media and training space in Stanmore and the West called the Working Kind Collective and Impact Studios. And we've done this out of the need to create more cost-efficient solutions for leaders to be able to, and organizations that are doing the right things, to be able to amplify their voices, because nothing's more powerful than the narrative and storytelling.
The story, it is.
Yeah. So, and to be able to come together and to dream and to envision what a new future
collaborate.
could look. That's right. Collaboration is key. Sustainable Development Goal number 17, partnerships for the goals. And I live by it. We wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for the massive amount of partnerships that we have harnessed and, put in place over the years. And many of them still in place now, because it's about those long-term relationships. So anyone who does, we've got dedicated desks, we've got dedicated offices that you can hire. Anyone who is Sydney based or, wants a place to belong when they are in Sydney, just come and check us out, and you're always welcome.
Yeah, happy to sort of leave a link when we do sort of, showcase this conversation. So when you getting back to Tech Enabled, it's pretty much allowing women in Nairobi, for example, or men or whatever, to essentially access your kind of leadership program over the internet.
Yeah, coaching, learning modules, and the community for them to be able to connect, to learn, to evolve. And, you know, we're building really awesome pathways with a lot of our partners where once people have gone through our programs, we can get them board ready, we can get them trained as coaches, they can eventually become facilitators. So our scale model is based on a train the trainer model where, you know, our products and services can be rolled out by facilitators all over the world. So we're, you know, it's very exciting time for us. We're still piloting and testing lots of things, you know, but it's tried and tested. You know, everyone we work with and generally those that we touch turn to kind rather than gold, but also gold too.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be. I think that's going to be your new marketing sort of.
Yeah. Everything we touch turns kind. Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
So, you know, but also start doing really well, and if they're not already doing well, because people start paying attention to them. It's almost like you're operating like a lighthouse. The waters could be murky, there could be fog, but we can still see the lighthouse, and the lighthouse is consistent. The lighthouse says it all. So when you as a brand or an organization show up as a lighthouse, people notice you. Yeah.
So if I'm around the world, who's going to be, if you don't mind me asking, I know sometimes this information can be sort of quite confidential. I'm in the world, where am I going to see that light? Are you looking to target certain countries to roll out this sort of tech?
We haven't finalized that yet, but it will likely be regional. So, you know, we can have cross-country collaboration in different regions. Like most tech firms, you know, that they've got their regions, and it's more around time zones and cultural ways of connecting and stuff like that. So, yes, there'll be lots of lighthouses around the world.
I like it.
Yeah.
And as you can probably tell, I'm very curious. I'm very interested in the name.
Bambuddha. Okay, yes. Yeah, there is a little story behind this.
Tell me the story behind this one.
Yeah, so Bam is about working hard and Buddha is about working kind, and it's all about the balance. So too much Bam and the lid falls off, too much Buddha, you can't get anything done. But Bambuddha is also the name of the local cafe bar where I used to live in Ibiza when I was 19, 20 years old.
So you're going to take the credit, right? This is all you, right?
Yeah. So it's literally the name. It's called Bambuddha Lounge or Bambuddha Bar in Ibiza. It's still there. It's a Mediterranean restaurant, chilled vibes on the kind of northeast side of Ibiza. And it was one of the first times in my life that, having had such a kind of challenging teenage years, that I just felt like everything was going to be all right.
A lovely story. So if I go there, right, and I mention your name, is that
I don't know. They might want to hunt us down from an SEO perspective.
So does my bill turn into a zero, or if I mention your name?
Do you know what? I'd love to meet the owners of Bambuddha in Ibiza. I actually haven't met them. We did, you know, we obviously made sure we didn't break any copyright laws with that. We're in very different industries and other side of the world. But yeah, they probably want to hunt me down from an SEO perspective, because we've probably been blocking their search a little
kindness,
bit.
You can make it win-win. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much about kindness they are, but they certainly was something quite special.
Well, maybe they've got to go through your kindness leadership program first.
Maybe. But you know what? I actually haven't been back to Ibiza in Spain since then. And the reason is I don't want to ruin my memories of it. I want it to stay this
interesting,
like really beautiful bubble that I was in. And it was just a place that definitely contributed to my healing as a human.
And it brought you calm.
It's just beautiful. It's just got this beautiful earthly connection, and it's got a special gravitational energy, that island, and obviously amazing food and beaches, and it's just a beautiful place to have lived. Yeah.
Obviously there's a lot going on currently right now in your life,
Yeah, there always is.
There always is. So how do you sort of break it away from it all?
I actually
do you want to break away from it all, or are you happy to sort of have it quite integrated with your personal life in a way?
I do live a different, I mean, work-life integration is an important thing, because you can't be something completely different to what you are outside of working.
No, you're only lying to yourself if you try to do that.
Yeah, and it makes you sick in the long run.
Terrible.
But there's nothing wrong with having boundaries and having your personal space. And for me, that's something that's quite important, is just having that place I can go to that's away from the intent, not necessarily the intensity, but the amount of energy and the whirlwind that we create. So I need to recharge. I actually work a 4-day work week. So on a Friday, usually I'm off on a Friday, or might be doing a bit of cheeky work, catching up on something here or there. But and I try to finish work by 3 o'clock each day. So that's how I manage my balances. I'm all
Lovely.
guns blazing in the morning. It's taken a long time to be able to have the restraint with myself to be able to put those boundaries in place. And I'll still might send a few messages. I'm a little bit here or there.
Was there a catalyst behind that sort of discipline?
I got sick. I got really sick. I got diagnosed with a condition called fibromyalgia about 2 years ago, which is a chronic pain and fatigue condition. And if I overdo it now, I can't get out of bed. So I manage my condition really well through, changed my life significantly, actually. Since
does stress bring about it as well, in a way, or?
Yeah, but I think just not having a balance can make me quite unwell. So I everything in moderation for me now, and lots of rest and sleep. I'm always in bed by like 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. I walk around like I'm some kind of rock star, but really I'm in bed by 8:30, and I love it.
hey, it's you.
Yeah,
it's
I'm
you.
up early. I'm up early.
Remember, I said my only expectation with this conversation is that you just need to be yourself. And
Yeah.
thank you for showing me you.
Yeah, that's okay. And I meditate. I go to the Buddhist center. I go on regular retreats.
You're basically finding ways to refill the cup in a way.
100%. And I laugh a lot. Like I try to operate from a high frequency of joy in everything that I do, because laughter absolutely is healing for me, and it fills my cup. Like if I can just I love it. And
you gotta have a laugh.
Yeah, anyone who knows me knows that I just love to laugh and I love to joke, and I'm a bit of a joker. I get stuff done and I'm serious, but I just think it's important to play and to have joy in our lives, because we're here. It's a blink of an eye that we're on this planet, and I've had a lot of trauma growing up and challenges in the past, and I choose now, very purposefully choose joy, because I've lived in the opposite of that in the past. And I think the best version of me is the version that laughs. The best version of me is the version that rests, and can show up in a way which is consistent, kind, and good for everything around me as well.
It's funny, unless you went through it, I obviously I can't imagine what you went through when you were growing up, Anna, but it's somewhat bit of an irony is that now it has allowed you to know what it's like when you don't have it. And now when you do, you're very much you.
Yeah, that's right. And yeah, I think everybody's got their own story, but every day is a new day to turn things around, and that's just something that I think is so important as the take-home message. Whether that's in your business, whether that's in your individual well-being, whether that's in something that you're unhappy with in life, whether it's about the change you want to make in the world, it's okay. Anything that happened before is okay. Tomorrow is a new day to turn everything around. So love yourself, forgive and give, but make sure you fill your cup.
You do.
Yeah.
I know. Just don't mind me. I just got to dig in a bit more because I'm very fascinated by what you're saying.
Yeah,
so,
I'm running out of time a little bit, just as an
Sure.
FYI. Yeah.
So to end this, Anna, this conversation, where do you see yourself in 30 years? Paint me a picture.
I would like to be just happy.
Simple.
Just happy and living a joyous life. And people would say, "What did you do in life?" And I'll say, "I was happy."
Lovely. Anna, thank you very much for your time.
No worries. Thank you, Jeff.